dysfunctionality. I don't even know, is dysfunctionality a word? Dysfunctional families? Family dysfunctionality? I don't know. Oh, my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite girl, Imani Bailey, and today I'm back with episode 4 of The Boy Is Mine. Now, we are kind of still focusing on ourselves, but this one is a little bit interesting. I haven't seen videos like this, so this is something worth talking about, we're thinking about, and by the end of this video I want y'all to have a full understanding of your family, his family, anybody's future family, what's going on, and what you're getting yourself into, sis, okay? Because people's family are crazy.
His body, baby. His body, baby. Oh, let go. Cha, ha. Oh, na, na. Bum, 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 oi. Oh, na, na. Na, 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 na. Oh, na, na. Bum, 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 oi. Oh, na.
Family dysfunctionality. I don't even know, is dysfunctionality a word? Dysfunctional families? Family dysfunctionality? I don't know. It's talking about dysfunctional families within yourself, your family, and your partner's or your future partner's family. Now, a great deal of The Boy Is Mine series is to focus on ourselves and potentially the boy that we want to be with, the man that we want to be with, whether we're in the dating phase or whether we're in a relationship already or whether we're just single and just want to learn about ourselves and our family and how to look for a good partner. Y'all know I am a by the book person, so I'm definitely going to read out the definition for you all for dysfunctionality, and dysfunctional families. It says, a dysfunctional family is a family in which conflict, misbehavior, and often child neglect or abuse on the part of an individual parent occur continuously and regularly, leading other members to accommodate such actions. Children sometimes grow up in such families with the understanding that this situation is normal. Now, I want us to harp on that last part, okay? I'm gonna read it again. Because all of our families might have some crazy dysfunctional parts to them. But this last part of this definition is going to be what makes or breaks ultimately you or the person that you're going to be dealing with. It says children often grow up in such families with the understanding that such situation is normal. Now, I don't know about y'all. But even before I get into a whole relationship thing, I've had friends who I've noticed who grew up in dysfunctional families and like total dysfunction, and we're gonna go into different types of dysfunction in a bit, and they're just oblivious to the whole thing. Like, it's definitely normal. What are you talking about? Like, it's normal that my dad hits on my mom because she acts out of line sometimes, and sometimes he just gets mad and he hits her, and I'm like, it's not normal. So the sad part and the reality of it is if we do not recognize the dysfunctionality in our own family, we might turn a blind eye to things, and we might realize, stuff that is going on in my household, stuff that went on when I grew up, was not normal. And if you are able to recognize that, you're able to change your actions so that when you grow up, you are not continuing the cycle, basically breaking the cycle. However, if you are putting yourself in a position to where you're dating somebody, and I mean dating as in like boyfriend and girlfriend or about to marry someone, I'm not saying dating as in I'm conducting interviews, going out on dates. But when you are dating somebody and you start to realize, I've had this in a point of my life, like I've started to realize, like, damn, like a long time ago, like the person I'm dating, their family is dysfunctional and they think it's normal. And that is a hazard, because if you're going to procreate with this person and they think that what they're growing up with is normal, they're more likely going to bring that into your household. Y'all don't want to deal with that. Y'all don't want to deal with that, okay? And even if it doesn't make it to a household, you're still going to be dealing with the fallout of such things, like the childhood traumas we talked about in episode 2, I believe. In episode 2. I'm going to read out to you all the signs of a dysfunctional family. Now, this could be your immediate family, outside of that. I just want to like dig deep, like and just focus on the immediate family. Focus on your immediate family, focus on your partner's immediate family, or whoever, so forth. No matter who you are watching this video in your phase of dating, personally, I would like to meet some people's family or ask them about their family. When people are straight up and say, yo, my family's crazy, you know, and they can recognize that, at least they got something, okay? Y'all, my nail, child, I lost a soldier, but it's all right. So the first thing, addiction. 45% of the US population has been exposed to some form of alcoholism in their family, which translates to about 76 million people and 26 million children. So like addiction, any type of addiction, not just alcohol. Alcoholism runs in the family, can run definitely in families. We're talking drug addiction, any type of addiction. Perfectionism, we're gonna come back to that. Abuse or neglect. I can't read. Unpredictability and fear. Lack of boundaries. Lack of intimacy. Poor communication. Conditional love. So these are just a few things. Now there might be more, but these are the things. I'm gonna list them out again a little faster. Talked a little bit about addiction. I feel like I don't really have to, it's self-explanatory. I think that is something that a lot of people think of when they think of dysfunctional families, people who are struggling with the addiction in their families, and it tends to run in the family as like a generational curse or as a cycle. But perfectionism. Now, the perfect example I can give you all of perfectionism, I'm not sure if y'all have Hulu watching this, but if you do have Hulu, check out the show called Little Fires. There's also, it's from a book called Little Fires as well. I haven't read the book though. I need to, because the show is amazing. And the show, it portrays perfectionism in one of the households as like the biggest detriment of one of the women's families. Like, because she's just so, everything has to be perfect, my kids have to be perfect, her kids are rebelling against her, like they do all types of things. I see a lot of teenagers when I was in high school who were like this, and a lot of, I don't want to say foreigners, but a lot of people, a lot of immigrants, a lot of foreigners, and oftentimes a lot of minority parents tend to walk on the line of perfectionism just because of the things that are going on in the United States. I'm not sure where you're watching this from, but the things that goes on in society, it leads some people's parents to everything has to be perfect. And when someone goes through that as a child, you start to see a type of rebellion. And then as they grow up, from the rebellion, it could stem for, okay, well, I want my children to be perfect as well. Abuse or neglect. Now, this one's a huge one. I feel like this is another one that everyone thinks about when they think about dysfunctional families. Just to reflect on abuse, we know about emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, all of that, and so on and so forth. But when we're talking about neglect, it doesn't have to be, I mean, like downright neglect. My parents have never cared for me, don't care if I'm home, probably are addicted to something or whatever. But just people who aren't like even emotionally available could be on the borderline neglecting the emotions of someone who they care about. And if you're talking to a person who grew up in a household that cannot recognize that is a problem, they're ultimately going to do the same thing to you. And it's really to break that cycle for someone who doesn't even see any wrongdoing in their actions. Unpredictability and fear. Now, it's hard to establish trust in relationships, and I feel like we've all probably met that one person that's like, I don't trust nobody, like, period. I don't trust nobody. I only trust myself. Like, I don't trust myself. I don't trust nobody. That's how I grew up in my family. We don't trust nobody. You can't trust people out here. If you find yourself being that type of person, and you want to make meaningful relationships, as in even friendships, you're going to be alone. In layman's terms, you're going to be alone. If you can't learn to trust anyone, you're going to be alone, and being alone is not good. Please check out my friendships videos and all that entails. That goes into details about making friends and meaningful relationships. Also touches on trust. Now, conditional love. This is a really big one because your partners and your perception of love is going to come down to what y'all portray to each other, and ultimately what's going to trickle down into your house and into your next generation. You gotta think big, okay? Even though you might not be on that wave, you gotta think big. And when we talk about conditional love, like, okay, for example, let's do the opposite. God's love is unconditional, correct? With God's love, no matter what I do, he's still gonna love me. He created me in his image. He loves me. He loves you. With conditional love, someone can say, you know, I love you so much, and make it seem as if they, you know, giving love and affection, but in a manipulative way. And it's borderline emotional abuse when you start walking the line of manipulation. So conditional love can be only if I want something from you. Oh yeah, of course I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love what you do for me, but I don't really love you. And as soon as you mess up, I'm done. I don't need it anymore. I cut him off. I don't care. I'm done with him. I don't love him. Whatever, bye. That type of treating people as if they are replaceable. I know we all like to say, oh, don't go thinking you're irreplaceable, sweetie, to the left, to the left. But at the same time, when your family is treating you like this, you might treat your children like this. You might treat your significant other like this. When you love somebody, you love them. Even if they mess up, even if they upset you, you might still love them. But then, don't just say you love somebody just to say you love them. People are just crazy. I saw this quote. It was like, people say that they love you, but they really just love the idea of you or what you can do for them. And that really hits home when you think about conditional love. The next thing is lack of boundaries. This one is really big, and I say like it's really big in like Black households, minority households, lack of boundaries. Just a small example: a controlling parent, an intimidating parent, stuff like that. Growing up, my house was always like, I don't want to say the fun house, but my house was kind of the hangout spot. Everyone was like, oh, Imani's parents are cool, you know. They really, not that they don't care about anything, but they're, what's going on? Not that they don't care about anything, but everyone was always like, oh my gosh, your parents are so cool, like I can't really show your parents like them. Growing up, my parents, if I was in my room and my door was closed, they would knock on the door, wait till I say open, and they would open the door. Because, I mean, yeah, it was their household. It's their household. They pay the bills. I'm just a child living in it. However, they respected my boundaries. They respected the safe space of my room. They respected how, you know, how I felt within my room. They want me to feel safe in my room. And they want me to be able to invite them, and they want to feel invited. Now, a lot of people, when they would come over my house and see that, like, your parents knock on your door and wait for you to say open up, like, and a lot of Black parents don't do that. Caucasian friends would. I had Caucasian friends, their parents did it. But a lot of Black parents have the notion of, it's my house, I pay for it, I could do whatever I want. Like, you know, just, even that's just like a small boundary that people don't even realize. And even like controlling. People grew up in a controlling household and they thought that, well, that's how my parents just love me. They're just super controlling. They might do that in their relationship. Do you want a controlling boyfriend? Do you want a controlling girlfriend? I don't think anyone wants a controlling partner. Like, that's so lack of boundaries, and that's another, I love quotes. A lack of boundaries invites disrespect. And that's with anything. That's with family, that's with friends, that's with boyfriend and girlfriend. If you do not establish boundaries with people in your life, you are inviting them to disrespect you, whether it's on purpose or not. Someone can, you know, not purposely disrespect me, but I still feel disrespected because we grew up different. So if someone's like busting in my room and that's what they did in their household, and I'm like, wait a second, that's not what we do, I feel like that's disrespectful. I'm inclined to say something. Hey, when you're dealing with me, you are to X, Y, and Z. I expect X, Y, and Z. And in turn, I will not X, Y, and Z to you. You know, stuff like that. Lack of intimacy. Emotional availability. Now, I will have an entire video on emotional availability next. So I won't go way too in detail on that. But lack of intimacy. And I feel like a lot of people in this generation ultimately think intimacy, sex, no. No. It says, your family doesn't show any signs of closeness. There is no honest emotional support, and your relations are superficial rather than emotionally available. Relationships like these make it hard for you to be close with anyone since you haven't practiced doing so before. You might fantasize and how you will do things differently with your own kids. Now, this one is so big because in relationships, if you're not emotionally available to someone, it's not going to work out. It's going to cause turmoil. It's going to cause that other party to be hurt, you to be hurt, people to be frustrated, people to be confused. If you don't practice emotional availability with your own family, it's going to be very hard to project it onto your significant other or onto your friends growing up. And poor communication. This one gets me. This one really gets me. When no one talks about their problems, and instead everyone just sweeps things under the rug. We're just gonna sweep things under the rug. You know, we don't really talk about stuff here. We don't really, like, you just get over it. I was mad, you were mad, you said some things, whatever, get over it, it's a new day. We just deal with things here because that's what we do. It's not healthy to not know how to communicate, and I feel like a lot of men don't know how to do this naturally. And with society and with families growing up with toxic masculinity, they think that not portraying how they feel and not communicating is masculine, when in turn it really hurts them more than they realize. People who have poor communication skills in their family have poor communication skills with their friends, have poor communication skills with their significant other, have poor communication skills at work. Ciao. You don't want to be that person. You need to recognize healthy ways to communicate. When you did this, I felt this. Boom. That's what you teach. That's what they teach you in therapy. When they did this, I felt this. Very easy. Very easy. Not placing the blame on anybody. Communicating how you feel, what action led you to feel that way, and in that way you are opening the conversation to, well, I didn't mean to hurt you, I did this because I felt this. It's not that hard, but it may seem hard if you're not used to growing up like that, but that's okay, because I'm here to tell you, please communicate. You got addiction, perfectionism, abuse or neglect, unpredictability and fear, conditional love, lack of boundaries, lack of intimacy, and poor communication. Now, although you cannot change your family, I do challenge you to, I like to write things down. Of course, watching this video, you can just think about it, but think about the the dysfunctionality within your family from the things that I have described. It could be your immediate family or your extended family, either one, or things that you recall from growing up in your household with your guardian or whomever. Think about things that you experience, and as you reflect, self-reflection, I want you to jot down, was this correct? Like, is this right? Is this how am I supposed to communicate? So for example, in my family, this is not my family, is, but say if somebody's like, in my family we never talk about things, we sweep them under the rug. Okay, I jot that down. So we need an action bullet. So what am I going to do moving forward? Moving forward, I will try to use I statements. And research how I can effectively communicate so that when I have a boyfriend or make new friends, I'm able to tell them how I feel. That is how you get results. That is how you get the results. The first things that get results into making meaningful relationships, friendships, business partners, whomever, loving yourself more, is to recognize that there's a problem. You can explore why that the problem is there. Hurt people. You could get to know your family more, get to know the struggles that your mother has dealt with, and you can see why, damn, she maybe was like this because she grew up like that. And because in her household she grew up like that, she always thought it was normal. See, sometimes things are not too far-fetched to where it's like, wow, that person never dealt with their childhood trauma or their childhood dysfunctionality. And because of that, they just kept walking in the darkness of this is normal. And it takes one person to break that cycle through knowledge, through recognize it, and through taking action. So I really challenge y'all to reflect on your family, your significant other's family, And even as you are conducting interviews, aka dates, with other people, please ask them about their childhood and about their family. Like, I mean, after the first 2 days, start asking people about their childhood. Like, so how was it growing up? Like, I need to know, like, what's going on? Definitely. At the end of the day, you can't change your family. We didn't get to pick our family. We didn't get to pick our family. We can't change our family. However, we do kind of get to pick our in-laws. Kind of, for the most part. Get to pick our in-laws. And you need to remember that your needs are your own. Communicate your needs. Recognize what's right and what's not right. And set boundaries. So, look, this is ugly. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything, please write them down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this video, and I'll see y'all in the next video, episode 5. I love y'all so much. Thank you for supporting me, subscribing, and stay true to yourselves like I always say.